Do you have a priority or a hierarchy in terms of the leads you use when you start building values? Um, in that, yes and no. Um, if I'm to describe like a drawing process in a vacuum, which is to say, we're all artists in the real world, and sometimes your mind is so occupied in the thing that you're trying to do that you just continue using the pencil that you're using, regardless of whether it is the perfect tool for that particular endeavor. I understand that, but also like I can describe in a vacuum, like in an ideal situation, what tool would you use for what effect? Yes, I definitely have different kind of preferences. So, for instance, like if I'm drawing the halftone values in the face here, I'm very likely to use even a pencil like this that is I don't know if you can see it, but like a 3H, right? The lead in this pencil, or the graphite in this pencil, is really rather hard. And so as you apply it to the paper, it tends to make a very light value in its marks. So when I have a very light plane, I don't want to use something like, in this 0.5 pencil, I have 4B lead. So if I use that 4B lead in the light, it naturally would tend toward having a much kind of darker, richer value to it. Something much more that you'd associate with areas of shadow like this. So for me, whenever I'm drawing, even if it's just a line drawing, I'll have at least two pencils, if not several, all for kind of different moments or different effects that I'm trying to achieve. Even like when I'm drawing a value like this, which is natively really quite dark, I'll use my 0.54B, but inevitably there are passages of the paper where the crevice is so small that I need to get further into it, and the 0.5 is a little bit too large to do that, and so I'll use my 0.3 to kind of get to a place where I can kind of get into those cracks and crevices. So in answer to your question, I absolutely have a hierarchy of leads that I use kind of at different moments in a drawing. And the more in tune you are to your materials, the better you're going to get at kind of using them in the right moments. It's remember I was at an open drawing thing, and I'll try and be as anonymous about this as possible because it's about a comment someone made. One of the people there was talking about, I guess there were some drawing classes that they taught. They were saying, people, yeah, they always show up to drawing class and they've got their pencil kits with 100 different kinds of lead, and then we all know that none of them are useful except for the 2B or something. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I find utility in every lead from an 8B all the way to a 4H. Each one of them is like a tool that you use for a specific job. But here was this person who was in a position of relative authority kind of saying, oh yeah, we all know that the only pencils you use are just a 2B or whatever. And I thought, yikes. Yeah, so by the way, I hope that person never hears that I said this, because it's very condemning. But just to say, I don't think like a lot of education kind of focuses around that. At least when I went through college, drawing was just I don't know. It was taught in such a way that it was very ambiguous in terms of like technique. It was very ambiguous in terms of representation. Like it was just you just kind of drew some stuff and were creative within that kind of paradigm, which is a thing. And I think it's totally okay to just draw some stuff. But I was always very interested in drawing some representational stuff, and in order to achieve that, again, like technique, process, materials, all these things are super active in your ability to kind of achieve your goal. And if someone's just telling you that all pencils, they're all just the same, I feel like that is definitely a hindrance to your capacity to understand the materials and therefore to control those materials.